Lights Camera Confidence is a podcast about finding your camera confidence, whether that's through a bit of self-love, a cute new outfit, or learning how to do your makeup in a way that makes you feel good. If you like what you hear, don't forget to follow or subscribe. Thank you for listening. Welcome to Lights Camera Confidence. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much, Chantel. I am so excited for this. I've been looking forward to it.
Amazing. So this is the very first episode, and if you follow me already, you know that my content is about camera confidence, social media, showing up for yourself.
Yes.
So I really wanted to start this podcast off with self-love.
Great.
So tell me about yourself and what you do.
Wonderful. So my name is Steph, obviously, and I'm the founder of Haze Counselling. So I see individuals and couples to help them through what I call life's hazy moments. So that can look like relationship difficulties, anxiety, depression, or sometimes just feeling stuck in life. Yeah.
Amazing. Steph, tell me about your own journey with confidence and how you show up for your business, both on and off the camera, because we live in an age where if we want our businesses to be seen, to be visible, we do have to show up on social media.
Yes, definitely. So looking back as a child, I was very boisterous. I was like constantly creating, dancing, singing. I was really confident in front of the camera. And then as time passed, I entered adolescence and that all shifted. And I started to experience anxiety, depression, going through all of those transitions and changes. And I shied away from the camera a lot more. So I think I really stepped away from that, but then coming back into the business space of things, I've really had to be vulnerable in that space in front of the camera. I remember uploading my first reel and turning to my partner and just being like, cut the show, like we're done, like I'm deleting Instagram. And I think it's just getting past that initial shock of being in front of the camera again. I think with just practice and encouragement from people around me, I'm feeling a bit more confident over time. But I think it's been a journey to get back to that younger version of myself who felt so confident and alive in front of the camera.
I love that so much. And it's funny that you say that because I think that's very similar to my journey. As a kid, I loved being in front of the camera. I loved holding the camera, using it. So my dad loved photography and videography. And my brother, my dad and I, we would make little home movies. Like he'd create all these special effects. And then as soon as I entered the teenage years, I got so awkward. Anxiety, all of that stuff happened, and I just stayed behind the camera. And I think starting Pink Sunny Social, it was such a huge shift to put myself in front. And I think it was the same thing with me posting the first reel, just the physical anxiety that came up in my body.
Yes. Yeah, and it's a core moment. Like you remember that and you go back to that each time, right? And maybe each time it's a little bit less anxiety provoking. I don't know.
I agree. I think practicing just posting through those hazy moments.
Yes.
It does feel a lot less intimidating after a while.
Definitely.
So from a therapist perspective, how is self-love related to showing up confidently on camera and, by default, confidently in your own business?
Yeah, so self-love is less about showing up on camera and more about how we feel exposed when we are in front of the camera. So if we think about it like being in front of a camera is kind of like putting a mirror up to ourselves, and it reflects a lot about what's going on internally. So the narratives that we tell ourselves about ourselves, the narratives we tell about how we're perceived by the world, our beliefs, all of those things come up, and we're kind of forced to have that mirror looking back at us. And a lot of the time that reflects a real critical perspective. So, the things that we feel self-conscious about, the things that we're worried that people will find out about us that we feel uncomfortable about. So a lot of that, I think, is about being able to find a sense of acceptance, because self-love is really grounded in acceptance, about being able to feel like, you know what, I can show up as I am, and that is enough. And that's kind of the goal that we all kind of want, is to be able to feel that way. But I think it's really about working with that, working towards that, working with that self-criticism that comes up and what is being reflected back.
That's amazing. That's such a great way to look at it, because you're right. Being in front of the camera, putting yourself out there, it's so exposing.
Yes.
I felt terrified. Like, what if someone I know sees this? What if they think I'm strange? I'm not smart enough for this. I'm not, what if I sound awkward on camera?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And also listening back and going, is that how I sound? Is that how I look? You know, it's very confronting. And I think that we all face it. You know, we all face that internal criticism. We all have a part of us that is capable of being critical, but we also all have a part of us that is capable of compassion. And we see that with our ability to be compassionate towards other people. You know, it's a lot easier for us to look at someone else and go, oh, you look amazing, like, and effortless, and it's so easy. You make it look so easy. But yeah, we are wired for compassion as well. It's just that we need to learn how to tap into that. How do I tap into that ability to be compassionate and to face it inwards towards myself?
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so nice. What tips would you give someone who is just starting out on camera?
Yeah.
To find that place of compassion?
Yeah, so I think the number one thing is to be able to look at this situation. Let's say you're being filmed or you're filming yourself, as you're not performing for the camera. Imagine someone that you know behind the camera, or, you know, someone that is going to be viewing this. Imagine them behind the camera, and then you're able to kind of ground yourself a little bit more, connect with, why am I doing this? You know, why am I sitting here talking to you, you know, instead of thinking, oh, what's the camera going to think of me? How's the camera going to display me, you know, on video?
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's so true. I think even for myself as well, it's just practice. It is pretending I'm having a conversation rather than, oh my gosh, this camera is staring at me.
Yeah.
It's just a phone, or it's just a camera.
Yes, exactly. And it's kind of looking beyond that camera and seeing, like, what is the outcome of this? Where do we want to go?
So have you ever worked with anyone and witnessed a transformation in their confidence? And did it have anything to do with self-love?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, the word self-love, when people hear that in therapy, they think, it's like, you know, a bunch of garbage, or like it's, you know, that's a faraway picture for me to even think about getting to that space. But a lot of the people that I work with experience that difficulty with accepting even just a part of themselves. It might not be all of themselves, you know, they might feel comfortable with their friendships. They might feel really confident at work and how they're showing up, but there might be a part of them that they really struggle to accept. So it could be addictive behaviors. It could be a relationship pattern that they get stuck in. Or a lot of the time, for a lot of women that I've worked with, it comes down to that self-image, that body image, which can sometimes transfer to like restrictive behaviors of like eating and overthinking and all those kinds of things. And I've worked with lots of women in that space to help them find that sense of self-love and acceptance for themselves in a different way, to kind of accept their body as, you know, our bodies change constantly. And I think that we have all this information about how we should be, or, you know, a space that we want to get to. And I think that being able to harness a sense of acceptance for ourselves can be very transforming. And I've seen clients come in and, you know, sometimes within like 6 sessions, you know, quite quickly, because the thing that is often missing for them is that key ingredient of like, how do I love myself? How do I actually turn towards myself? Stop being frustrated and critical. And, you know, that critical voice is always going to be there, but how do I dim that? How do I dim that critical voice and start to be, you know, trusting in myself and more uplifting, more compassionate?
Yeah, that's amazing. It's so great to have women like you supporting women that need that extra, just like a you know, a comforting voice, a guide to help them through those times.
Yeah, thank you.
And so what's something that you do to prepare for filming your own reels for your business?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, something that I often do is I leave myself a huge amount of time to do them, because I know that if I go, yeah, I'm just going to snap out a reel like within half an hour, it's not going to happen. And I give myself the benefit of the doubt where I'm like, okay, what are my kind of core needs? What am I needing to feel comfortable in this space? Doing a little check-in, like physically, have I got enough rest? Am I hydrated? Am I hungry? Is my tummy going to be rumbling in the reel? Also just feeling comfortable in what I'm wearing, feeling comfortable and just setting up that space. And I think whenever I stumble on a word, I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I saying? What is happening? Instead of getting frustrated, I laugh. Give myself permission to just like laugh at myself and take a minute and even talk back to the camera like I'm on The Office, like, you know, make a joke or make a comment about like what just happened that is less from frustration, but more from like, that was take 20, like we're going to the next one. So yeah, I try to bring some humor into it. And if it doesn't work out that day, then that's okay. I've spent that time trying, I've had a little bit of fun, we'll try another day.
That's such a healthy way to look at it. And I think when you do that, you enjoy the process a bit more.
Yes, yeah.
And when you start to enjoy the process, it actually shows up in the content, whether it's a photo or whether it's video. You know that you're having fun. Your audience, your future clients, they know that you're feeling comfortable, you're feeling confident in your space.
Yes.
And they're probably more likely to want to work with you.
Yeah,
in that way.
Especially if you are feeling, you know, I've seen reels go up where people have just, and I can tell, I've been in that space before where I've filmed it so many times and I've gone, oh, you know what, I'm just going to put it up. But I feel like that's the worst thing to do, because it's that energy that you're leaving with that reel is like, I don't care anymore, I'm putting it on there. But like I said before, just coming back to that, like my why. Why am I doing this? Focusing on, the whole purpose of it, and it's supposed to be fun, right? Making it fun.
It's supposed to be fun. It's definitely supposed to be fun. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Steph. I thought it would be a really great way to start off with speaking to a therapist and giving us some insight on the importance of trusting yourself, loving yourself, and being compassionate with yourself.
Oh no, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. And if you want to check out Steph's work, like please give her a follow and send her a message if you think this might be something that you need.
Thank you.
Lovely.